Welcome into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton here on this Throwback Thursday, and what a day it's going to be, as we have a fantastic show lined up for you. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff to talk about. Mo, how are you?
I'm all right. Working toward Christmas, obviously, trying to get some things squared away, tying up some loose ends, etc., etc. So,
well, I will tell you, I am super pumped about today's show because we have a lot of Clarksville love today.
the Queen City getting some love from Main Street Sports today.
Plenty of it, to be honest with you, and looking forward to, again, because we have Clarksville girls coach Brian Rush. It's funny, when I was looking up his name, I put in Eric Rush.
You didn't find him?
Well, who I found was the police chief in Trussville, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Who I worked, and that's where the name, like when I was thinking of it, that's how the name. Then I got Brian. We've got his picture. He's right, so that's good. Justin, are we?
What's up?
Having trouble?
I
think we are.
Just a little tiny bit. I can hear you.
Can you hear us okay? I know the video seems a little choppy.
It was a little choppy. It's a little bit better now. And now it's bad.
Voltage Event Center in Clarksville operating illegally. Well,
are we back now?
Can you hear us, Justin?
I can, loud and clear.
Cool.
That's weird. I don't know what happened there, but glad that we got it fixed, I guess. Anyway, good show lined up. Brian,
and hopefully we can give it to you.
Brian Rush, VALAIR SHABILLA talking the U.S. Soccer MLS drama, as well as the MLS draft, which featured a Middle Tennessee player going numero uno to Toronto. So we'll talk a little bit about that, what Nashville did as well. We'll also talk to Terry McCormick. And then on Throwback Thursday, we like to go back and give you one of our favorite interviews from the last week or so. We're going to go back to David Cutcliffe last week talking about Jeff Ferris, 1F or 1R.
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 1F.
1F and 1R. And we'll also get you some up-to-date information on everything going on in the world of sports, but we need to get you yesterday's results, some of today's results, and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Girls high school basketball action from Wednesday night. Wilson Central defeated Berks Catholic of Pennsylvania 50-30. Hewitt Trustful of Alabama defeated Blackman 50-45. It was Brentwood 58, Stewart's Creek 50. Cannon County with a 61-37 win over Riverdale. Cheatham County defeated Davidson Academy 54-39. Columbia Central moves to 11-1 with a 52-32 win over Brentwood Academy. Cumberland County down Nashville Christian 48-30. It was Ezel Harding 71, Ravenwood 44. Page defeated Florida State University High School of Florida 63-29. It was Oakland 49, Gallatin 18. Goodpasture with a 52-47 win over Metcalfe County, Kentucky. Gordonsville down Lead Academy 66-27. Lipscomb down Overton 62-40. It was Livingston Academy 71, Lawrence County 62. Loretto with a 65-30 win over Deschler, Alabama. Mesquite of Arizona 41, Harpeth Hall 39. Mount Juliet 43, Webster County, Kentucky 35. Pope Prep 49, Trousdale County 39. Portland with a 43-23 win over Lawson. Rockvale edged Farragut 34-33. It was Westmoreland 43, Rossview 31. South Gibson with a 71-23 win over Tennessee Heat. Hendersonville defeated Springfield 60-35. It was Summertown 62, Collinwood 22. Green Hill with a 39-37 win over Watertown. And White County stayed undefeated, defeating Ensworth 57-41. Earlier today, Nashville Christian defeated Watertown 33-19.
Boys action yesterday. Beach 72-62 winners over Memphis Business. Did not give Beach the business, did Memphis Business. BGA 72, Clarksville Northeast 33. It was Blackman 52-38 winners over Kirkwood. Southwind Downs Cane Ridge 56-29. Hazel Green of Alabama 56-47 winner over Centennial. Columbia Central defeated now it's the Alabama School of Math and Science.
Oh, no longer cyber technology?
They beat a school from Alabama that teaches something other than athletics, clearly, 64-33. Columbia Academy 69-45 winners over Butler Prep of Illinois. Franklin Classical 64-51 against Cornersville. Forest falls to Summit 74-39. Fort Payne down Smyrna 68-33. It was Franklin 76-42 winners over Knowledge Academies. Jemison of Alabama, the Panthers 58. Friendship Christian 46. Gallatin edges Oakland 52-51. Gordonsville 57-31 winners over Watertown. USJ falls to Lawrence County 52-47. Cannon County 46-43 winners over Lebanon. Blue Devils bounced back with a 60-44 win over Shelbyville. It was Lipscomb Academy 61-51 winners over Martin Luther King. Pearl-Cohn falls to Loretto 69-48. MBA 72-26 winners over Riverview East Academy of Ohio. Grissom, Alabama, the Tigers of Huntsville 44 and Mount Juliet 37. Smith County 57-48 winners over Nashville Christian. Coffee County 49-46 against Nolensville. Page falls to Oak Mountain of Alabama 62-56. Ravenwood 56-54 winners over Clarksville Academy, and a good one there. Riverdale 55-37 over Maplewood. Rockville 78, Farragut 73. Pope Prep falls to Siegel 67-60. Hendersonville down Springfield 61-25. Station Camp with a close one over Davidson Academy 50-46. Summertown falls to Jackson Christian 68-63. And Whites Creek was a 54-36 winner over University School of Nashville, while McGuffin County, Kentucky 71. Wilson Central 52.
Men's college basketball last night. Belmont with a 74-70 win over Arkansas State. Lipscomb big over Bryan College 101-55. In women's hoops, it was Vanderbilt 70, Dayton 53. Austin Peay with a 57-55 win over New Mexico State. Middle Tennessee State closes out the pre-Christmas portion of their schedule with an 83-42 win over visiting Northern Kentucky. And it was Lawrence Tech 77, Cumberland 74. Earlier today, Lipscomb falls to Kentucky 87-80. Girls basketball action today in the high school ranks. Tipping off at the bottom of the hour, it's Father Ryan in Cheatham County. Also at 2:30, it's Greenwood out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, taking on Pearl Cone. At 2:45, Page meets 1-of-1 Prep, North Carolina. Interesting name there. At 3 o'clock, over at Lipscomb Academy, Columbia Central takes on Ezel Harding. Also at 3 o'clock, it's Cumberland County and Green Hill, Hume Fog and Liberty Creek. At 3:30, Webb of Bell Buckle faces Ensworth. Also, Farragut takes on Stewart's Creek. At 4:30, Hendersonville faces Oakland. 6 o'clock starts for Middle Tennessee Christian at Christian Academy of Knoxville, or CAK. Christ Presbyterian Academy plays Coffee County at 6. Also, Upperman is at Creekwood. Montgomery Central is at Houston County. Good Pasture is at Lipscomb Academy. Culleoka is at Marshall County. Clarksville is at White House. Lebanon hosts Hewitt Trussville at 6:30. And at 7:30, Gallatin plays Springfield.
Boys action. Here we go. Cannon County and Friendship at 2. Also at 2, Jemison and Rockville. Forest and Riverdale at 2:30. At 3 o'clock, it's Good Pasture East Robertson and Oakland Hendersonville. At 4 o'clock, Hazel Green takes on Centennial, or Sipsey Valley takes on Centennial. Somebody from Alabama.
My guess is Sipsey Valley takes on Centennial, because at 5:30, Hazel Green takes on Battleground Academy.
All right, let's go with Sipsey Valley then.
Yeah.
Sycamore and Antioch at 4:30. Ravenwood Southwind at also at 4:30. At 5, it is Farragut and Loretto, and Franklin Classical and Summertown. That's in Mount Pleasant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hazel Green of Alabama takes on Battleground Academy at 5:30, as well as Columbia Central against University School of Jackson.
That's in Lawrenceburg.
At Lawrence County, that's right. Brentwood and MBA at 5:30 as well. Pope Prep and Maplewood. At 6 o'clock, McCracken County of Kentucky and Columbia Academy, Fairview.
And hold up, that is at the FNB Bank Holiday Classic in Benton, Kentucky, at Marshall County High School.
FNB.
FNB Bank, the First National Bank.
I was going to say, is that like RIP in peace?
That's like DSW Shoe Warehouse.
Exactly. Oh, man. Franklin Christian and Cornersville at 6:30 and Mount Pleasant, right? No.
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Cornersville was down there. Springfield Gallatin at 6, Knox Webb and Brentwood Academy, and then Pearl Cone is at Mount Juliet at 6:30.
At 7, Grace Christian Academy of Powder Springs, Georgia, is at Lawrence County. That's a new one on me, but okay. Knowledge Academies plays Franklin County at 7. Upperman plays at Creekwood at 7. Also, Rossview plays Evangel Christian out of Kentucky at 7:30. Tennessee Heat is at Franklin Road Academy at 7:30. Also at 7:30, it's Cheatham County at Lawson. Hume Fog faces Liberty Creek. Whites Creek is at Lipscomb Academy. Culleoka is at Marshall County. Christ Presbyterian is at Stewart's Creek. Tennessee Heat is at White County. And Franklin Simpson of Kentucky is at White House. Again, those are all at 7:30 p.m. At 8 o'clock, it's the nightcap out at Mount Pleasant as the host Tigers take on Jackson Christian. Men's college basketball hoops, 5:30 p.m. You can see it on ESPN Plus. Tarleton State of Stephenville, Texas, takes on the host University of Tennessee at the on-campus basketball facility. At 6 o'clock on Valley Sports South, the Predators are at Philadelphia. In the association, the Grizzlies are hosting the Pacers of Indiana. That one's again at 7 o'clock. It's on Valley Sports Southeast. And at 7:15 on Amazon Prime, it's the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Rams. And that is your rundown.
As is so often the case, much like every day, top story is brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill Shopping Center. That was me imitating the preschool teacher that we watch on YouTube, where she stop so that you can finish the sentence, you know?
My bad.
No, it wasn't not you. For our,
Because
the viewers are going to be doing that.
okay.
You know, that's what it's for. It's for the person viewing the show. It's like
They know.
exactly. So
Yeah.
Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill Shopping Center, the great lunch, of course, fresh hand cut meats and great produce. All cost plus 10 at the register. Make sure to go check them out. Today's top story. Wish we hadn't had so much time wasted earlier, but the Florida State Board of Trustees met earlier today to examine their
options.
their current situation within the Atlantic Coast Conference, and or at least that's what the reports are saying.
And it seems they have reason to do so.
It certainly does, as we mentioned that letter sent by Bill Hancock, CEO, Executive Director of the College Football Playoffs, to Senator Rick Scott of Florida, which denoted the ACC as a so-called Power 5 conference. Which,
how did we not see that? I mean, we had the letter in its entirety, right?
Yeah. I guess I just kind of glanced over that, but it's pretty tough.
That's pretty damning right there. I mean, I'm surprised no one latched on to that any sooner, to be honest.
It's pretty wild. But anyway, here are the things. Here's what we know. The ACC clearly was not good enough for the undefeated champion to reach the top 4 of the college football playoff in 2023. 53rd ranked strength of schedule versus everybody else was much, much higher, right? So clearly the ACC had its struggles. And a big part of that is because, its other best member wasn't very good.
It's historically traditional best member of late.
At least of recent memory.
Yeah.
And so Clemson not being very good drastically hurts the ACC. Also, not having to play Notre Dame, that is part of it as well. And so Florida State is once again, as they were before the season, by the way, looking at options. What are their options?
I think that's a great question.
Because the Big Ten has no room. There's no room in the N. There's just, not with Washington and Oregon being added to make 18 teams.
And I think everybody just assumes that it's the Southeastern Conference, but we know what happens when you assume. And I don't think there's any room at that end either.
They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want any more. They're happy with 16.
Yeah, I don't think they want any more. And that's not necessarily that they don't want Florida State. I don't think they want anybody. I mean, they're at 16.
Where
are you going to go?
And again,
nothing else, nothing more makes any sense.
Well, the only way it makes sense is if it's schools where they don't currently have members, such as Virginia and North Carolina.
Schools and states where they no longer have members.
Correct.
Or don't have members.
If they don't have a member in a state, then it's a possibility.
But even at that,
but they've said they don't want. Now, Big Ten has 18. But
and how is that?
How's it going to work?
How's that going to work?
That's a great question. I don't think it's going to. And so their only other option is the Big 12. Or wait it out and be part of the newly formed Pac-12 in a couple of years.
I have found this letter.
Second page.
Yeah. I don't know that the so-called was necessarily the slap that I think there's some context that's missing from it when you just say Bill Hancock said so-called Power Five. The committee's decision to rank FSU number 5 in the nation was based on two principal reasons. One, the protocol requires the committee to take into consideration the unavailability of key players that may affect a team's performance during the postseason. Simply put, Florida State is not the same team without its star quarterback. That caused the committee to believe that there were indeed 4 teams that should rank higher than FSU. 2, FSU's strength of schedule was not as strong as the 4 teams that were ranked ahead of them, as I'm sure you are aware, you being Rick Scott. Strength of schedule is a key metric the committee takes into consideration. If being undefeated without regard to a team's strength of schedule was part of our protocol, other universities with undefeated records would have been routinely considered for the playoff. There have been 8, counting Florida State, undefeated teams that did not make the playoff. While this is the first year such a team was from a so-called P5 conference, strength of schedule remains a crucial factor.
Yeah, no, he wasn't saying that the ACC is not a power. What he was saying was that the ACC considers itself and is considered a Power 5 conference.
I just think
there's not a denotation in the committee's world.
I just think that needed cleaning up, because when I heard it initially, I'm like, damn, Bill. Okay.
Well, and that's how Florida State folks are taking it, but that's not the case.
Well, Florida State folks are taking it that way because they're looking for things to take that way. And here's the thing. I found this letter at Senator Rick Scott's Twitter feed. Breaking. The CFP playoff just responded to my letter with more excuses and still no transparency.
With nothing but transparency and answers in that letter. Nothing but. Like this is our train of thought. This is our thought process right here. We're not hiding anything. This is the discussion that took place. What more do you want? It's 14 paragraphs of nothing but explanation.
Yeah. And the last thing he says, answer our questions. Okay.
The questions, do we need to put them in red with an answer under it? Is that what we need to do here for you?
What are those? The citations that you put in your
bibliography,
research papers and that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a little absurd, but
it really is. And
but that
kudos to Bill for answering.
But that's why they are considering a move out of the ACC. Which
you can consider, but I don't know where you're going. I mean, Big 12?
Big 12 is your only option. Now you're going to be in a conference with UCF. Really?
Really?
So I don't know.
Is that what you want?
That's certainly not what they want. I think they'd rather go independent, and I think they could.
Well, Oregon State and Washington State, all of a sudden they got something going.
That's what I'm saying.
They give Oregon State and Washington State somebody to play in baseball in a warmer climate.
By the way, there's a 30-day clause with the WCC where Oregon State can opt in over the next 30 days to play baseball in the WCC. So I think what they're going to try to do is see if they can make a schedule. And if they can't, then
WCC here.
WCC it is. Yeah. So anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, Brian Rush joins us on Coach's Corner. We'll hand out some hardware as well. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back in just a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Maurice Patton here on this Throwback Thursday. And we'll throw it back to Coach David Cutcliffe, who joined us last week to talk about Jeff Ferris up in Austin Peay, which is in Clarksville, in case you weren't aware. But since we're going to be talking about that, we might as well talk a little preps in Clarksville. No?
Absolutely. And joining us now on Coach's Corner is Clarksville Lady Wildcats coach Brian Rush, whose Lady Wildcats are off to a 9-0 start after defeating crosstown rival Northwest 49-40 on Tuesday night. So, Thursday night, last Thursday. You guys been off a week, Coach?
No, we actually played on Tuesday. We played Clarksville Academy. So
okay, so that's what got you to 9-0 then.
So we're keeping ourselves pretty busy.
And staying close to home. There's plenty of opportunities to do that, I guess. So
right.
Congrats on this great start. I guess when you've got a signee from a SoCal Power 5 conference on your roster,
Power 5 conference,
it helps. Imani Berry is a nice piece of your puzzle there, I would think.
Yeah, Amari, I mean, it's been a great 4 years with her. I can't believe 4 years is almost done. But to watch her grow and watch her become a leader in this program has really been a lot of fun to watch. So she's 21 points away from her 2,000 point. So that's something she's going to be going for tonight, as we're also trying to get a win.
Tonight, you guys are at White House, 6 o'clock start in their Christmas Classic over there, back over there tomorrow against White House Heritage. To round out your pre-Christmas schedule, I guess. Other than Amari's 2,000, what are you looking for out of this team over the next couple of nights before y'all go into the holidays?
Well, we start off the season. We get 2 weeks before we get started, so you kind of start putting this ship together as the season goes. And you get once you hit the holidays, you get a chance to get the kids out of school, and we get a little extra practice in. And I think we get to start really, shaping things up, making sure we've got the offenses we want, the defenses we want. And we've just been dealing with the flu in our program right now. So we had 3 starters out the other day, Tuesday against Clarksville Academy. I think I'm getting one of them back tonight. So, we're getting lots of kids. They're getting lots of chances to play right now. And that's great for building depth, as you start preparing for January and then February.
Yeah, obviously January and February is kind of crunch time, and you want to have as many players being able to come off the bench and give you meaningful minutes as you can as the season wears on and as you get closer to a trip to the glass house. And so, when you look at this team, obviously Amari's the straw that stirs the drink, but you've got a lot of role players who really fill out this team and have found ways to make you guys successful. Who are some of those players that folks should be paying attention to?
Well, I mean, we're blessed to have 6 seniors who are all great kids. We have Ella Moore, who's our post player. She's been a all-district player. She's also a volleyball player. And Ella Musnick's our other post player. And so they give us real good strength in the paint. And then we have Olivia Luce, whose family is well known up in Clarksville, and Emma Young, who's also a strong post. And then when you look at our younger kids, I've got a junior in Milan Smith who can attack the rim and score at will. And so she's kind of been a nice dual threat in our scoring attack this year. And we have 2 sophomores who didn't start for us last year, but were in our top 7. And they've really come on this year, Kira Garinger and Allie Howard. And they both benefited from playing volleyball this year. Kira ended up being the player of the year in our area. So, just that experience, we've got a lot of dual sport athletes. And I think that experience, off the basketball court really helps our team gel together on the court.
We like those multi-sport athletes, Coach. And like you said, that experience and that success in other sports a lot of times tends to kind of carry over, particularly if it's into a sport where they've not necessarily had success. Just the confidence that you bring out of playing in a key role and doing well can be beneficial. And I guess that's what you've seen with those 2 sophomores.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk to the kids about the jump. When they come from 8th grade, we say, everything's a little faster when you go to JV. And then, when you go from JV to varsity, the game gets a little faster. And these 2 had to make the jump from, 8th grade right into the varsity program last year. And so it was really a trial by fire with them, and they really responded well. So, getting them back this year, it's like I have 2 sophomores that really have junior level experience.
Coach, this is a program who has seen a lot of success recently. How much of that carries over? Obviously, your teams have found themselves in the state tournament 4 times over the last 13, 14 years. It means something to be that group that continues the tradition, and nobody wants to be the group that doesn't. So how much of an impact does that have motivation wise?
I think it has a lot. I think, the kids in all of our sports, you want to figure out a way to leave your mark. And, I think all of our coaches talk about that here at CHS is, what's your legacy? And, we've been blessed to have a lot of our programs have a lot of success. And, we've gotten to the state level, and, some of our sports have been able to win state titles. But I think, that's really a big motivating factor for our kids is that legacy that you leave behind. And like you said, no one wants to be part of that group that doesn't make it.
Coach, folks whose knowledge of girls basketball goes back more than 5-6 years remember Bashar Graves and that group of seniors that you had up there, as Chris recalls, state tournament appearances and that kind of thing. Not just Bashara, but some of the players alongside her. Obviously, I guess she was the quote biggest name going up to UT, but great group of players around those teams over those, right there around 2011, 2012 through there. Kind of had a fall off after that, as I guess would be expected. How do you sustain things and, just keep things moving in the right direction to kind of get back to this?
That may be the funnest part of coaching right there is, that year that Bashar groups graduated, we had 7 kids off that team go play college ball. 5 of them got an opportunity to play at the D1 level and 2 got JUCO offers. And so when we came back the next year, through attrition of that and then a couple kids moving, we had 1 kid out of our top 13 that returned. And, so you went from, winning games, where the question was whether you're going to get to a running clock or not, to realizing that as a group, we weren't going to score more than 30 points. So we had to figure out how to hold teams down to that level of points as well.
And at the same time, Coach, I imagine when you've only got one of your top 13 back and you're going from whether or not you're going to win by a running clock to playing teams that you've been beaten by running clocks, and all of a sudden, you know, they've got the whip handle now, and you're kind of dealing with that as well, I would think.
You do. And, you know, I can remember having those conversations with those kids of, you know, you're at halftime, you're like, don't think they're going to take it easy on you. You know, the last 4 years, we were the team on top, and they're the team on top now. And so we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight for everything we get. And I think, you know, being in those battles, it strengthens those kids. And we were lucky to bring in a group of young freshmen. And, you know, within 4 years, we were back at the state tournament with a really fun group to coach. And then, you know, they graduated, and then we had to start rebuilding again. It's taken us a couple of years to get back. But we've had good success along the way. I think we've been knocking at the door. And so last year, we finally got into the state tournament. And I'm hoping that gives us some great experience. You know, I think our goal this year is to obviously get back and see if we can do a little bit more than we did last year.
That's interesting because, you know, you just mentioned you have 6 seniors on this group. So how do you try to avoid having to go through those rebuilding years while also getting the most out of your seniors this year by getting those younger players, those underclassmen, you know, enough playing time so that, you know, next year is less of a rebuilding year, but more retooling?
Right. This year is completely different because our younger kids are contributing in big ways. You know, Milan's been a 2-year starter, and Kiera's starting this year for us, and Allie's the first one off the bench. And the second one off the bench is another sophomore in Shakia Vance. So those kids are already getting, you know, they're in your 7 or 8 man rotation every night. And especially over Christmas right now, these tournaments that we're playing in, we pulled 4 freshmen up. And we're getting them in the games. They got a lot of playing time, especially with 3 starters out. They got to play a lot the other night against Clarksville Academy, and they're going to get that opportunity today and tomorrow. And so, you know, that helps replenish the program. So I think next year we won't really be looking at a rebuild. We're just kind of a reloading and, you know, reconfiguring where our strengths are going to be.
Yeah, it's not easy to do, as you've seen over the years.
Right.
Yeah. Brian Rush, girls basketball coach at Clarksville High School, joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. There's a lot. Sorry. Brian, you had Bashara. You've sent kids on to the next level and to the highest levels of the next level. Talk about Amari to those who have not had a chance to see her.
Oh, man, she's a special player. You know, I was lucky to be able to coach Bashar because she was special in all of her own ways. And same with Amari. You know, the thing that they both bring is they love to practice. They both absolutely love practice as much as they love the games. And, you know, that's really helpful when you come into the gym and your star players are the ones that are ready to go. And then Amari is, she loves to compete at anything, you know, so any drill we do, if we make it a competition, she's all in. And, you know, we feed off that, and our kids become super competitive, and our drills are set up as such. And so, you know, it's something that she brings, and she just enjoys the game, and she enjoys life. So she has fun every day, you know, so you come to practice and there's a smile on her face and she's ready to go. And so whether the coaches or other players come in, you know, from a long day, her joy of the game is just so infectious, and it just picks everybody up. And she's been a great leader in that for the past couple of years.
I had a coach tell me once, and it just really resonated with me, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this as a veteran coach. When your best player is your hardest worker, it really makes everything a whole lot easier.
It does. I don't think people understand in the world of sports how hard that is to achieve. You know, a lot of times your hardest workers are the ones that are sitting the bench. You know, and as a coach, you have to grapple with that sometimes. But Marge is one of those special people, and, you know, she will outwork everybody every single day. And Bashara was the same way. You know, it was, you know, I can remember with Bashara, I had to do kind of what the Bulls used to do with Michael Jordan, which was, you know, we go 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and I have to give her 3 JV players to play against the rest of the starters just to make it fair. And, we do the same thing with Amari. And Amari gets out on the court, and Amari's not looking to score. She's looking to figure out how to get her teammates to score and take them at the level they're at and provide to give them the ball and an opportunity for them to be successful. If you ever watch her in a game when she's sitting down, if we've got a big lead and she's had a chance to sit down, she's our biggest cheerleader. She is jumping up and down, and she's helping the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th players, get their shots up, and make those shots. So we had a post player the other night catch the ball up at the 3-point line. As a coach, you're thinking, all right, I need you to drive or swing the ball. And of course, Amari's in the background yelling, shoot it, but truly just wanting them to succeed and have fun. And, so she becomes their biggest cheerleader. And I think that just kind of rubs off. And then when she's in the game, they're doing the same for her. They're her biggest cheerleader, and they're rooting her on as, she does her thing.
Makes for great chemistry, I would imagine.
It does.
Brian Rush, Clarksville girls basketball coach, here with us on Main Street Sports Today. Coach, congratulations on a great start to a season. Obviously, got a big game tonight and tomorrow, and then you come back after Christmas as you go to Stewart County for a couple before the new year. So enjoy the Christmas break, and we appreciate you taking some time with us today and look forward to talking with you again and seeing you out on the court.
Well, thanks for having me on, and you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Coach. You too.
All right, let's hand out a little hardware, Mo, as we have the End-to-Win Life Team of the Week presented by our friends at Custom Stone Handlers, which, of course, outside the military, the greatest leader building platform is sports, and Custom Stone Handler proudly encourages young people to get in the game. 931-490-4990 is the number to call, customstonehandlers.com. We got a little malleable with Team of the Week on this one.
Well, this is the time of year where schedules really get a little wonky.
Wonky is a good word.
This week's Team of the Week, which covers the week of December 11th through the 17th, this team only played once during that time frame, but it was a big win.
It was.
Because anytime a boys basketball team in this area beats Fayetteville, it's a big deal. And
Chris
that's what
Murdoch likes to hear that.
Yeah, well,
he doesn't like to hear that they got beat, but he likes to hear that it's a big deal when they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what Columbia Academy did last Friday night over at the Anderson Fieldhouse, defeated the Tigers 61-44. It was their only win of the week, but it was their 4th straight victory. And they've since followed it up with another couple. So the Columbia Academy Bulldogs and that guy right there.
Griff?
Is that Griff?
21?
Yeah, that's Griff. With the twists, it's a kind of different look for him.
Yeah,
I almost thought it was Jeremy, but then I saw the two and I'm like, oh, that's not Jeremy Jackson. The Columbia Academy Bulldogs are our End-to-Win Life Team of the Week this week, and they will be on the floor tonight in Benton, Kentucky at Marshall County High School against McCracken County.
We won't be there.
We will not be there.
I don't think we can make it.
No, we were in McEwen Tuesday night, but we will not be here. Sorry.
We won't be in Marshall County,
Kentucky.
Tennessee or Kentucky.
No, certainly not Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. Well, how about our Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week?
Our Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week averaged a double-double in a pair of victories last week. Grayson Burleson, the junior out of Summertown High School, averaged 32.5 points, 10 boards, 5 assists in a pair of Summertown victories. Went 34-11-5 over at Murfreesboro Central on December 11th. So
it's a good day.
That's a good day, and he had another good day in their other victory last week. But yeah, he when he and Kurt both get going down there, they are tough to handle. And there's always a Burleson in Summertown.
Never not.
Yeah. So yeah.
It is wild. How there has not been. I feel like there hadn't been an athletics team down there without one since
I don't know
ever.
Exactly. But yeah, Summertown's Grayson Burleson is our Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to him, and again to Columbia Academy's boys as well.
That's correct. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, We will talk fair or foul recruiting. Come back with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton. Time now for a new idea to some degree. This is what I'm calling fair or foul. I'm going to give you a scenario or a couple scenarios. We'll decide whether it's fair play or foul ball. So, scenario number one. A player at Oklahoma University chose to go into the transfer portal. And that is not a new thing. That's
no, it's
pretty
not.
regular these days.
It's not even new to Oklahoma. No, it's
Oklahoma fans, however, not happy. In fact, so unhappy that many of them took to Google, where they searched up the player's dad's State Farm agency and proceeded to leave 1-star reviews for his State Farm agency. And my question to you is fair or foul?
I don't think there's any question that that's foul. I mean, it's foul, it's weak, any negative you can come up with for that, it meets. And it's amazing to me how childish adults act over this stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It doesn't make any sense when, I mean, this is
And you don't mind taking a kid as a transfer, but you're gonna kill a kid and his family for leaving. I don't get it.
yeah.
You know, that door swings both ways, period.
Right. And I think that's the thing. I mean, a bunch of 1-star reviews with nothing written, just 1-star reviews. Reginald Green, the dad, responded to each of them. Stop it. Don't do this because my son chose to enter the transfer portal in football. You live in Oklahoma and have never done business with my office. This is a really bad look for the Oklahoma fan base. Be better.
Yeah.
So anyway, just going to throw that out there. That's pretty Bush League.
It's terribly Bush League.
Caden Green, by the way, chose Missouri from Oklahoma.
Speaking of
Missouri, during early signing day yesterday, Missouri signed a couple of players out of the state of Arkansas. In fact, not just a couple of players, the number 1 and number 2 prospects out of the state. And so, what did Missouri do? Well, exactly what you would think they should do to their rival. They just bought some billboards in the state of Arkansas to congratulate those players on their signing a Division I football scholarship that just so happened to also be with
Missouri.
I
like it.
My question to you is fair or foul?
Oh, that's fair, and that's trolling at the highest level, and I'm here for it. That's awesome. I think it's great.
I absolutely think it's great. I think that you got to give these kids, give them some love, but also like this is hilarious. Like, and this is good rivalry, right? Like this is exactly what.
I mean, they wouldn't have necessarily done that. Well, they wouldn't have necessarily done that in Illinois. For football, they wouldn't have necessarily done it in Kansas, but Arkansas, Missouri football, that's probably Missouri's biggest football rivalry, and it's in conference. So, yeah, it makes all sorts of sense.
They also threw one up in Middle Tennessee for Jaron Sensabaugh, who had a UT offer out of Nashville.
Where is Sensabaugh from?
Innsworth.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Good for, but I mean, it appears that they may be doing this everywhere.
That they got
everywhere that they
they got a kid from.
Yeah, but yeah, this is hilarious. Courtney Crutchfield from Pine Bluff and Austin Dindy from Pine Bluff get billboards.
Oof. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, the same thing to make you laugh will make you cry. I mean, if Arkansas goes up to Missouri and pulls somebody, then don't be surprised when you get to just see a billboard with nothing on it but a big old Razorback.
I don't remember what this billboard said, but in Monroe, Louisiana, for a while, there was a billboard with the score of the Alabama game. For a good while.
Well, why would you put it up in Monroe, though? Why wouldn't you put it up in Tuscaloosa?
I think they were trying to recruit people to come to the games. I don't know. Hey, we beat Alabama.
I don't know. You might not want to remind Alabama of that too much because
that comeuppance will not be good.
Yeah. All right. We can do this again if y'all want to.
We'll even pay you.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh man. But yeah. So all right. Beerly Carey at Beerly Carey, host of Beerly Football,
Beerly.
with his 662 followers on Twitter.
Okay.
Not Stop referring to your favorite team as we. You are not on the team. Fair or foul?
That's pretty foul to me. I mean,
His comment is foul. You
Yeah.
think he's wrong?
oh yeah, yes. His comment is foul. He's wrong. I think fans are entitled to refer to their team as we. I think it's okay.
I agree. And here's why. Every dollar I spend as a fan directly impacts that organization.
And maybe not dollar for dollar, but they get something out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
directly impacts the organization. And yeah, it may not be dollar for dollar, but it impacts them in some way. And as Big Orange Mac says, everybody has their job to do on game day. Coaches, players, managers, cheerleaders, the band, the fans, even the people in the concession stands. We're all part of the big machine that helps get the win. I like what he says here. I think this makes a good point. I think that, just because you're not on the team doesn't mean that you can't say we. I was kind of on that bandwagon for a little bit until I got to thinking about it really hard. And so
we put our effort in.
There's a lot of effort that goes into being a fan. And again, you don't have sports without fans. Period. If nobody's watching, as the commercial will tell you, then it's just a practice. Or a scrimmage. Sorry, it's a scrimmage.
Yeah.
Without fans, it's just a scrimmage. Without an audience, it's just a rehearsal.
I just don't understand why anybody even feels the need to say that.
This is a thing. I mean, people, Cole Kubelik is among those who thinks that you shouldn't say we.
Why? Who's it hurting?
What did you do? Well, I directly impacted the program when I bought this jersey behind me, or when I bought this helmet right here. I directly impacted the university in some way.
I come back to who's it hurting by associating myself with the team.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
So therefore,
weak
it is. That is foul.
It is. Yep.
All right. So there's fair or foul. We'll see how often that pops up.
A recurring segment.
Yeah, not necessarily a regular.
Yeah.
Segment.
Yes.
There
yes.
you go.
Yes.
Let them wear the jersey. That's right. I don't know. Okay, so I don't mind the jerseys. I don't love wearing jerseys with a player's name on it. I'd rather have either my name on it or no name. Because I support because I had this discussion with somebody the other day. I support the team. It was Rick's Road. I support the team. I don't support the player. I support the player while they're on the team. But I got a Kenny Lofton jersey. Was I a Kenny Lofton fan when he was in Cleveland? No. I wanted to beat his butt to win a ring.
Were you a Kenny Lofton fan after he left?
No.
So,
but I bought it at a thrift store, but that's neither here nor there.
You popped some tags.
I did. But yeah, I mean, players leaving the team that I choose to root for. That doesn't change my fandom unless it's Peyton Manning in the NFL before I got here.
You grew out of that phase, huh?
Well, I mean, I just didn't have a rooting interest. My rooting interest was Peyton. And that was it. So now I have a rooting interest. Now I care about the Titans.
Yeah, I think your pre-Titans investment was, I think that was more the exception than the norm.
Sure.
For most fans.
And so, yeah, if you want to wear the jersey, wear the jersey. I don't care. It's not hurting me. So let's take a break. Terry McCormick on the other side. Stick around.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Welcome back now to the Titans Daily Report. And we would ask Terry to read the injury report, but that would take up his entire segment. So give us the highlights, huh?
All right. Well, it is your Zen Sports Titans report, and it's kind of your Zen Sports injury report today, guys. 11 guys didn't practice at all today, or were not out there in the open part of practice. And some key guys in that: Will Levis, Jeffrey Simmons, Sean Murphy Bunting, several guys, that are obviously are key parts of this team. And then you also didn't have a bunch of guys out there at the start that were limited guys getting their normal rest days, like Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Danico Autry. The scary thing to me about this game Sunday is not only might you not have your starting quarterback, and granted, you're in pretty good hands if you've got to play Ryan Tannehill on Sunday, but a pass rush that might, or a run defense that might, and pass rush that may not have Jeffrey Simmons, and obviously doesn't have Tierre Tart because he was released. And then you're talking about a secondary that could be playing guys like Trey Avery, Eric Guerra, Terrell Edmonds, all kinds of starters missing from the secondary right now. So you think about that, and, the thought of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba running free against that secondary with no pass rush to help them out is a pretty scary thought.
Yeah, no doubt. It is scary, in fact. And, you just got to hope that Danico Autry and Harold Landry are able to get on the field. And if not, well, maybe you don't have a chance to win no matter who's the quarterback. So.
Yeah, I think that's probably their best chance is for guys like Landry and Autry and Arden Key to have a big day rushing the passer to help cover for this secondary. Otherwise, it could be a very long day for the Titans. This is not a team built to get into a track meet, and certainly the Seahawks have some weapons, especially when they go to that 11 personnel and play 3 receivers.
No doubt. All right.
It'll be interesting, too, because in terms of the, when you're talking about going after the quarterback, it sounds like Geno Smith's going to give it a go. He had that groin injury, so you do kind of wonder about his mobility. So maybe that's an edge for the Titans.
Well, anytime QB1 takes the field, it's an edge for the Titans. So we'll see how it goes, because they've not fared well against backups, as we've discussed.
No, they have not. I wish I had kept the list over the years of guys that they had lost to, backup quarterbacks. Look, it happens occasionally when you go against the Chase Daniels and Tyrod Taylors of the world, but they've lost games to Craig Krenzel and Todd Bauman. So there you go. I think they did manage to beat Spurgeon Wynn, though.
Jeez.
Managed to.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. Terry, tell us about Zen Sports.
All righty. Guys, the Thursday night game is upon us, and in Zen Sports, you can make your first $50 straight bet on the game, and if the bet loses, you will receive a $25 no danger wager for Saturday's games. That's right, on Zen Sports. Here's more about what you can get from Zen Sports. the new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, and I'm excited to share with you some big news. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports with up to plus 500 odds, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum within 24 hours if the bet loses. And there's more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. Witness more than 1,000 handcrafted Chinese lanterns featuring brand new designs, including towering mythical beasts, a life-sized Santa's workshop, and a 100-foot-long dragon. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not, Justin, but that was a heck of a promo considering that the last guy in the promo is our next guest. So what a segue it is.
Absolutely. It makes it easy to bring SEC Assistant Commissioner, former Duke football coach, David Cutcliffe into Main Street Sports Today. Coach, welcome back. How's it going?
Well, good. I've been listening to the previous segment. I'm looking at the stuff behind you. I'm catching an orange and white jersey with Manning on the back. Put me in a good mood. Appreciate that. And then Derek Mason is a good friend and someone that I think very highly of. He and his wife both will bring a lot of energy and genuineness to Murfreesboro. No question about that, as will who we're on to talk about, Jeff Ferris to Clarksville.
Tell us more, Coach, about Jeff Ferris, the new Austin Peay coach, because he was with you during your time over at Duke.
Yeah, I knew Jeff's family when I was in Knoxville. They became good friends, and Jeff was a really good high school football player that was probably headed to Harvard when I got the job at Duke, and a great student, great person. And I immediately recruited him to come to Duke. I knew he would make us better on and off the field, which he did. And it's amazing to watch what he did. I can tell you that kind of, I didn't know what Jeff exactly wanted to do. He had the intellect to do anything he wanted to do. Then he told me right off the bat, he said, Coach, I want to sit, even though I may play defense or offense or receiver, he said, I'd really like to sit in the quarterback meetings and learn football, listening to you talking about that position and talking about defense. And I said, sure. So as a player, he basically ran our scout team defense because he knew what we were trying to get looks at quarterback. He was back there in the secondary doing that. Did some things in the kicking game for us as a player, but in 3 years, he was graduated from Duke with a perfect GPA. And I mean, I'm telling you, smart. He makes me really dumb. Okay. And, he's brilliant. Then he got another degree the next year. It was in economics, I think, his degree. And then he got a master's in economics. And then I hired him as a GA. I wasn't going to let Jeff leave. So he was a graduate assistant for us and went to graduate school in divinity. Now I'm even feeling worse. I'm like, hey, I'm the real blue devil. You know, maybe I'm the black devil. And Jeff goes to divinity school and does great. And then at 24 years old, I made him the youngest assistant position coach in the Power Five. He, at different times, coached receivers for us, coached tight ends, coached quarterbacks, coached part of special teams. And Jeff and I used to talk a lot about this. I would get young people asking me, young coaches, Coach, how can I become a head coach? Well, you don't become one. You have to be one from the get-go. You have to understand that you should be the best football coach on the staff, meaning no offense, defense, line play, special teams, secondary. You got to have a thirst for it. Well, I told Jeff that when he was a freshman talking to me about coaching. I would come into the office and he would be sitting in John Latina's office, our offensive line coach, learning offensive line play. So I think people that are listening to this are understanding who Jeff Ferris is. And when he was a GA, I had a coach on our staff, Sonny Lubick's son, Matt Lubick, who I love dearly. Matt was a great organized recruiter and signed a lot of players for us from California, from just about everywhere. And Jeff sat with him and talked recruiting every day. And so he quickly became the best recruiter on our staff. He is tireless. He's got great energy. But I started this by comparing he and Derek Mason. He's genuine. He is a great person. His wife, Natalie, is a great person. I feel like a grandfather everywhere because all of our young coaches all got married and had children throughout our career, through 20 years at Ole Miss and Duke. And just I love every minute of watching Jeff grow. And so when I was asked about him, I said, I don't know what your needs are in your mind. You know that, I don't. Jeff Ferris already is a head coach. He just doesn't hold the position. So I'm excited. He won't even hardly answer my text, which makes me smile because I know he's 900 miles an hour. I got one at 1 a.m. this morning, which is appropriate for him. And but he knows, I'm here for him anytime. And I'm excited to see what happens to already a program that's really been on the rise and to take another good steps under Gerald Harrison's care. So I'm really excited for the people that are around Austin Peay and the great town of Clarksville. And by the way, prayers there. I know a lot of people that suffered a lot of loss there in a lot of ways. So, prayer for all you guys in Middle Tennessee. That was frightening.
Well, Coach, we appreciate that. And I know you go way back with Clarksville, one of the greatest offensive linemen ever to play at the University of Tennessee, Harry Galbraith from Clarksville. But you mentioned Gerald Harrison. You and he were at Duke at the same time as well. And I figured that might have had something to do with this.
Well, he got introduced to Jeff that way. I brought Gerald from Tennessee to Duke. And, I think it was an opportunity. Gerald was, looked at in a way I think at Tennessee it was a little different. He came in and got an assistant athletic director's position. Just took off from there. After Kevin White saw him, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years over there with us, he snatched him from me into the mainstream of senior associates. And he went from there. And Gerald is a superstar in himself with a great work ethic. But, that exposed him to Jeff. I mean, when y'all are around him and you spend time with him, you're going to see what I'm talking about. He's a great person, but he's eloquent. He can speak. You know, you got to slow him down sometime. I say, Jeff, we're in the South, man. You know, his parents are both from Boston. So I said, hey, you know, we can't calculate that many words a minute. Okay. We're Southerners down here. So I slow him down every now and then, but I kind of knew from the get-go that there was something special there.
Coach David Cutcliffe joining us here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little bit about new Austin Peay football coach Jeff Ferris. And, you know, Coach, you mentioned it. We've got a great contingent of football coaches in Middle Tennessee at the collegiate level right now, with Derek and Jeff coming on board. It just feels like this is a really good time for Middle Tennessee. And you know, when you talk about taking that next step, this is obviously a program that has, like you said, been on the rise, but Jeff gives them the ability to continue doing that through, you know, the game being an offensive game right now, it feels like.
Yeah.
When you are trying to be at that highest level of the FCS, it feels like it's a quarterback-driven game. How does Jeff play into that? You know, he just got a massive quarterback recruit from East Carolina, a transfer. It's already paying dividends. This is going to be a big step for Austin Peay and for Jeff. It feels like this is not his end game.
Yeah, I had him coach Riley Leonard when Riley came in, and Riley just made them incredible jumps in progress, and you know, it got him ready. And Jeff's got a great reputation already offensively, and those kids are going to know that. But what I talked with Jeff about is at the FCS level, sure, you're going to lose some people occasionally to the portal that get lured to the FBS or even a Power 5 level, but you got a program there at Austin Peay. And you get the right people instilled in the right spots, and you build around it. But he knows how to develop a program. That's what we had to do at Duke. It was not instant success. You got a chance to develop some greatness there in every position. And I know he's carefully going through his staff to know that he's got to have coaches that win every day. And Jeff's got one thing on his mind, and that'd be national championship. And why wouldn't you think that? You're in a playoff-driven league, and you know that's what he's going to strive to do and build. But you surround yourself with winners. You surround yourself with people that have those same focused goals. I don't know if I like the word goals. Sometimes I just think daily habits are champions. That's where you see the difference. And so whether it's a Peyton Manning, a Eli Manning, you know, all these guys, Heath Shooter, to speak of some, and then of course Daniel Jones and Riley. It's Jeff understands daily habits. He's got them himself as a coach, and he will have those players understanding that. Their practices will be fun to watch. I can promise you that.
And Coach, you know, you're familiar with the talent level that will be at Jeff's disposal just out his backyard. I mean,
yes.
Middle Tennessee talent has exploded here over the last 10 to 15 years. It's going to be a lot easier for him to continue that rise for Austin Peay from a recruiting standpoint than maybe it has been for previous coaches up there.
Well, I certainly hope so and believe that. You know, I hammered the doors of Nashville starting back in 1982, and as the city and the area erupted, so did high school football. You know, we've come a million miles since that time when I was working for Coach Majors. But every player that I ended up signing out of Nashville ended up being really good football players for us at Tennessee. And then later I signed some at Ole Miss that were extremely important to our success. And what I'll give you one, I'm getting ready to do a thing on Patrick Willis from Brewston, not all that far from you guys. And Patrick, you know, in this day and age of stars, was I think a 3-star guy after we offered him. But you find those guys in camps. You work hard, you turn every stone, you develop, and Jeff will develop great relationships with the high school coaches. And then you start learning those coaches when they say, hey, I got one. And you know that one knows what he's talking about. And you find those guys. And nobody knew Patrick Willis's name as a freshman until he covered a kickoff in Oxford against Alabama. And on about the 12-yard line, a guy caught the ball on the goal line, brought it out, his mistake. And Patrick separated his body and the ball, and they're still hunting body parts on that return, man, on the square in Oxford, Mississippi. So, yeah, everybody knew Patrick's name then. And he was freshman All-American. But you can find those guys. And I've talked to Jeff about that. I said, you know, hit the road, man. You know, get your coaches out there, win every day. And he'll have that opportunity. And I don't know, I can't keep up with him. I don't know anybody that can. I think I could have in my youth, but I had to say, Jeff, slow down. We're not going to 12 schools today, okay? You know, but he will take advantage of that opportunity. And I'm a big fan of Tennessee high school football. And you know, you mentioned coaches. I'll mention Clark Lee, who's become a friend in my role in the SEC, and I coached against Clark when he was a defensive coordinator. What a terrific football coach. And it may not look like it to people the way this season went, but that's people don't understand. Saturdays is not the only time you measure a coach. There are a lot of things that can occur that affect outcomes on a Saturday. But I go to Vanderbilt for campus visits, and I see all those folks up there winning every day. Every day. I see the same thing up in Knoxville. So you do have some outstanding football coaches, you know, in the state. But right there in Middle Tennessee, that's some really good football coaches. As well as the collegiate, you also have them in the high school level. So I'm excited for Austin Peay, and I'm certainly excited for Jeff Ferris.
No question. You mentioned your role in the SEC, and we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you how much of a role you played in the schedule. Obviously, you know, last night it was released. We know that you were the one who put Florida and Alabama back to back for Tennessee, weren't you?
No, I stay away from that. There's a company that we've hired, and they've done an amazing job. The people that stay in the midst of that scheduling. But the balance of that schedule over a 10-year span is scary balanced. There's just not much leeway. And you know what my wife looked at it and she said, this is crazy. And I said, wait a minute. Everybody get used to this because records are going to change. You can't have a league like that. Look at the NFL. Who won the Super Bowl a year ago? The Chiefs. They don't have a lot of different people, but how many losses do they have right now? 4. There's going to be 2 and 3 and 4 loss teams that are darn good football teams.
Yeah, there's no question. You're right, because it's easy to be balanced when everybody's good.
Well, and you look at the schedules, each one, you know, because you could pick any of them and think, dang, man, that's challenging. And I looked at it as a coach. Some of them, I'm wondering how I could sleep all summer. Oh my gosh, you know, and that keeps you up. You start your summer scouting reports, you get your staff working on it, and then you do your own studies. That's kind of what I did during my vacation. And Lord, that can get heavy in the summer, let alone at least it's 1 week at a time in the fall. You can't think ahead, but man, when you're looking ahead, it's frightening.
Coach David Cutcliffe joining us here on Main Street Sports Today. Coach, we appreciate your time so much today. Thanks for enlightening us on Jeff Ferris. We are very excited to have him here in Middle Tennessee and at Austin Peay. We know he's going to do great things.
Yeah, just don't put my picture and Jeff's picture together up there anymore because, man, does he make me look bad.
Hey, We know how you feel. We know how you feel.
I got it. All right, guys. Take
Thanks,
care.
Coach.
The main men on Main Street. That's what.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Back now on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, live again after Throwback Thursday, throwing it back to that interview we had last week with David Cutcliffe about Jeff Ferris up at Austin Peay. And always a good time when you can get Coach Cut on. So
I would have him on every week if we could.
yeah, he's fantastic.
He'd get tired of us, but it would be fun while it
Just
lasted.
story time with Coach Cut would be fantastic.
I mean, that story about Patrick Willis was as good as anything we've got. So yeah, he's fantastic. And again, I think I said it after the segment last week. The best thing about him is that's him.
Yep.
Wherever you run up on him. So love Coach Cut.
So we'll go from Coach Cut and talking American football to the other football.
Yep. Football
with VALAIR SHABILLA, sorry. And this is going to be an interesting segment because
it really is.
Despite the MLS season being in its off season,
there is no off season.
There's plenty to talk about in the world of soccer. VALAIR, welcome in.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here with the main man on Main Street, as I heard.
We need that to catch on.
We're gonna cut that too.
Yeah, that might need to be a hashtag or something. Yeah, thank you. Feel free to push that out there, VALAIR.
Yeah. I'll do my best. But you're right. There's no off season. I thought I was getting excited after that last match. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do so much stuff, and then it's been the same. Just not going to Georges Park. That's the only difference.
What was insane to me, VALAIR, and as we've discussed on various other times when we've had you on, I'm not a huge soccer fan, and clearly I'm not as familiar with the soccer talent in this area as I should be, because I would have never thought that the #1 draft pick in MLS would have come from this area.
Yeah, and it's actually number 8 as well. So number 1, number 8 both came from Lipscomb. And both Spicer and Jones are well, for Jones specifically, who was the number 8 pick, he played in a local club as well here in Middle Tennessee before even going to Lipscomb. So
He also played at Grace Christian Academy out in Franklin. Is that right?
possibly, I'm not sure actually, but he did play for Nashville United Soccer Academy as well, but that's his club team, not school, you know. And for Spicer, he's a guy from Trinidad who came in, you know, for education as well as soccer, of course, to Lipscomb. And you know, the program there with Coach Morrow, he's done a great job in Lipscomb. It's a program that wasn't really known for soccer, really, but he's turned it around, and the school clearly cares about the program. You look at the improvements in the facilities they've made there. They have a really nice soccer field there, and even the stands are pretty cool. And I've been to it in the last few years, and you know, after their sort of renovations and all that, it looks much nicer, and it shows that they care. And with good coaching, good facility, and of course, just overall the general interest for the game of soccer has grown in the United States, but specifically here in Middle Tennessee. I think that does trickle down to finding these draft picks, high draft picks from local kids, which is pretty awesome to see, honestly. And you know, Lipscomb men's and women's soccer has been one of the best throughout Middle Tennessee for the past few years now.
Yeah, it's impressive to see that. You know, we've talked about the level of high school football players in this area over the last decade has improved drastically. And it's not just football, though, just the level of athlete in general in all kinds of sports has increased just ridiculously as people have, you know, the influx of people have moved into the mid-states. So it's just really cool to have that connection. Like, wow, #1 and 2 top 10 picks. That's absurd.
And I think also there was a kid drafted out of Clemson who is from Fairview.
Yes.
Brendan
Parrish.
Yeah.
Parrish's last name. Yeah, he did play high school soccer here in Middle Tennessee as well. And he, I believe, won national championship with Clemson last year, if I'm not mistaken. He went in the second round as well. And he was able to get drafted as well. And it is interesting to look at all these kids who I honestly think a lot of this has to do with Nashville SC, but also just overall, especially in Williamson County. I think there's been a lot of soccer, a lot of people caring about soccer more, and then now we see it in sort of these areas around Nashville, whether it's you know, even if it's the school programs, high school, middle school, the level of soccer compared to when I went to John Overton High School and kind of the soccer that I watched. I never played because I'm not that good, but I was friends with all the guys, right? And I would watch them, and the level of those high school games and those college games have just gone tremendously higher up. Just in eye test, you know. Obviously, it still takes a lot, and Nashville is not known as a hotbed for soccer talent or anything like that, compared to some areas in the country like Dallas, for example, LA, even areas like Charlotte, DC. Those are areas that there is a lot of soccer talent coming out of it. So Nashville becoming one of those. And one thing I do want to mention is the Nashville SC Academy, because what makes MLS different than NFL or any of the other leagues that we have in America is that the draft is like, you know, maybe the third or fourth most important thing to get young talents. It's third or fourth most important mechanism to get young talent. Academy, international transfers, those are higher up, more important than the draft. So the next step to see young talents is Nashville Academy guys. So kids who have been in the Nashville Academy since they were 11, 12, grew up and signed that professional contract. And they have one right now in Adam Sipich, who did sign the first ever homegrown contract with Nashville SC. So that's a kid who's played in Nashville, who's part of the Nashville Academy, who currently, as of 2024, will be a Nashville SC player. Now, he'll probably play most of his minutes in Huntsville, their second team, of course, but he's still a Nashville SC player, and he's the first ever homegrown kid to have that contract. So that's kind of the next step in the evolution. It's not just getting the college kids, also having a functional academy that's producing talent for Nashville SC and for other teams as well. It could be the second division teams. It could be other MLS teams. Could be international teams.
Great. VALAIR SHABILLA joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, as we're talking a little professional soccer and trying not to get out over our skis, basically, because this is a very educational. I mean, every time we have VALAIR on, we learn something because he knows a lot.
We know,
and we know nothing. So, I mean, I think, and I really think that's to our credit a little bit, because I'm not going to try to tell you I'm a soccer expert. I'm not, but we can put you in touch with folks who are, and VALAIR definitely qualifies. So VALAIR, one thing I noticed in the MLS Super Draft is a lot of these kids that were drafted, like Malachi Jones, they're underclassmen. What is their situation? I mean, they have the option to come back to school, you know, with the transfer portal. That's another story. But I mean, they have the option to come back to school or sign immediately. Or how long does their drafting team retain their rights if they don't come out right now? How does that work?
Right. So first of all, give yourself some credit, because you guys know a little bit more about soccer than you let on. But and thank you for bringing me back. I can explain anything, right? But in terms of that, it's a new thing that that MLS is doing with their draft, is that given the option for kids to go back to school, finish up their season, and then come and join their team. The teams that drafted them will have their rights until they sign for a different team. And if another team wants to sign them, then they'll have to buy those rights from that team. So they will always have those rights if they play in MLS. Now, of course, they can probably go and sign somewhere internationally. That's out of MLS's hands. But, you know, again, that's not happening a lot for these college kids, because generally international teams are looking for 16, 17, maybe 18-year-olds. They're not looking at 20-something-year-olds. For Nashville SC and for teams who drafted these younger underclassmen, like you said, it might be for their benefit for them to go and play their last season or their last two seasons with their school, because that is guaranteed minute for these kids. So if they come and join your team or even your second team, it's not guaranteed that they're going to play. They might sit on the bench. They might not find a spot. And some of them might just find it hard to adapt, right? So maybe they want to go finish up their degree or anything of that nature, right? So you want to give them that option, I think. And most importantly, since they've already committed to go into this team, you know that you can bring them back. And the one thing about the college draft or the super draft with MLS is that very, very rarely do players end up playing meaningful MLS minutes the first year they're drafted. Very rarely, especially not attacking players. Generally, what happens is that they come to the team, they get sent to the second team, or maybe they start training with this first team a little bit. Maybe they'll get a minute in the Open Cup, which I know we'll talk about in a second. Maybe they'll get some minutes in these other competitions. Maybe they'll go with the team to a preseason. But very rarely are they playing meaningful first minutes. And sometimes they go on loan to USL or second division teams, right? So that could be their loan. Their loan is that they're going back to their school team and playing there. But these guys who are getting drafted, they're playing every single minute for their school team. They're the captains. They're that solid center back that's going to play every minute, start every game, or that striker who's scoring goals. That sort of experience they probably can't get with the second team, with the pros. But again, there are some teams who have maybe more complex style of play, who would want kids to come as soon as possible and play for them as soon as possible. Now, those teams generally kind of skip the draft altogether, trade all their picks away, and just develop their own kids separate from the draft, like Philadelphia Union. Every year, the Philadelphia Union just gives away all of their picks and say, nope, we're good. We don't want to use the college system. We'll just use our academy. There's a couple teams like that around the league, but Nashville SC has been a big fan of the draft so far since they came to the league, and they've used it as a mechanism and developed some really, really fine players from it. Jack Mayer is probably the biggest name. Constant starter center back, very, very high level player, and he's finding it really great in Nashville and really enjoying it.
VALAIR SHABILLA again here with us on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. VALAIR, you just mentioned it. Let's talk about it. The U.S. soccer and MLS drama as it relates to the U.S. Open Cup. Last Friday, the MLS announced that it would send its next pro teams to the Open Cup in 2024. Yesterday, the U.S. soccer folks said,
no, you won't.
No, that's not how this works. It was a request. You requested it, and we denied your request. And it made me think of my cousin Vinny, overruled. And like that's all I could think of, because like I feel like this is going to end up in court somewhere or something. But it kind of give us a backstory here. MLS, why don't they want to play in the U.S. Open Cup? And secondly, what recourse does U.S. soccer have, if any?
So MLS, their main reason of why they didn't want to participate in the U.S. Open Cup or not participate their first teams in the U.S. Open Cup is because fixture congestion, or that just means there are too many games, right? So they're saying we're playing too much games. The players are tired. The players are getting injured. We shouldn't be playing that many games. And for that reason, we're going to send our second teams to the U.S. Open Cup because, well, they didn't say that publicly, but Don Garber, the MLS commissioner, has stated on multiple times that the conditions of play for the U.S. Open Cup are just unacceptable, and he just doesn't see U.S. Open Cup as a prestigious enough competition, I guess, at the way it is. What U.S. soccer has is a policy, and well, they have the law in their hand, which says the highest level of soccer, the highest division of soccer, which is MLS, must participate in the U.S. Open Cup. Now, MLS can come back and say, technically, because Nashville owns Huntsville, they're sending Huntsville instead of Nashville, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of back and forth, and I think what kind of became clear as these statements started coming out yesterday. So, like you said, MLS announced their decision on Friday afternoon, which is, when you want to announce all the good decisions, right? So they announced that. Yes, exactly. And I think they were a little surprised on the reaction. I think there was just a lot of fans and a lot of journalists and even former players, former coaches came out and just said, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? Why is this the solution for that problem? And I think what it slowly started becoming more clear to me after all the statements yesterday that you mentioned is that MLS might have seen this opportunity as a negotiation. Maybe they knew all along that they can't pull their first teams and just wanted to use that to see where they stand or where their power is. We'll wait and see what happens. The thing with the U.S. Open Cup is that MLS teams have been playing their kids and their second teams in it anyway. So that's the part that a lot of people are confused about. There are the MLS rules, the MLS roster rules are very complex, right? So you can't play X amount of internationals. You have to play X amount of local kids, whatever. However, when the team plays in the U.S. Open Cup, those rules don't apply because MLS rules do not apply to U.S. Open Cup. So Nashville SC can theoretically bring all the Huntsville guys and play as Nashville. And that's
so because U.S. soccer doesn't have those restrictions, the MLS roster includes, to put in baseball terms, the Major League Club, the AAA club, the AA club, the Single A club, the Rookie Ball club, everybody.
Yeah.
And you can play anybody you want.
Right.
They can bring academy kids. They can bring like you said, anyone within that franchise, which is a lot of players.
So what you're telling me is there is no recourse for U.S. soccer here.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, they just want the name, right? So when you look at a competition and you see Inter Miami, let's just get to what everybody's asking about. You see Inter Miami versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds, whatever, who is a USL team. You're gonna be more interested in that because there is a possibility that Messi's gonna play. Now, if you look and see Inter Miami 2, you're probably not going to watch that match because it's a second team and you don't care. So the other thing is that once the competition goes further along, so the quarterfinals, the semifinal, the final, these teams are no longer playing their kids. They're playing their regular starters because there is something in the line. If you win the Open Cup, not only are you winning a cup, which is a big deal, of course, you're winning a competition, you also qualify for the Champions Cup, which I know we might need to do a whole nother thing on that. But
we talked a little bit about that in a previous show because the Champions Cup includes the CONCACAF and all of those other league cups that are, so it's just one big cup for everybody.
Yep, for the continent, yes, Central America, North America, and the Caribbean. That's what it is for. Yeah.
And so, say that's the case. If, let's say, Nashville SC takes its Huntsville team and wins the U.S. Open Cup, can they play Nashville SC in the CONCACAF?
That's the stuff that's unclear at the moment. And if they enter the tournament as Huntsville, they will not be able to take Nashville.
I don't think they can.
Enter as Huntsville. I would be very surprised if that's how it works. The other way around, you can though, right? If you're playing under Nashville SC's team, then you can take whoever you want because again, the CONCACAF rules, who governs the Champions Cup, they're not as strict as the MLS roster, right? So there's no cap for CONCACAF, for example. So you can realistically sign a player for a day, have him play this game, and then he goes away. I mean, nobody's doing that, but since there are no restrictions, or not as many restrictions, I should say, as MLS, you can play your Huntsville guys, for example, here, and you can play your second team guys as well.
This is absurd, is what it is, and I think this is going to end up being a battle that neither one of these organizations want to fight, but I feel like the U.S. Open Cup has a lot more to lose.
They definitely do, right? And in terms of marketability, if you lose the MLS name, if you lose the MLS team names, your tournament's already way less marketable. However, the U.S. Federation, U.S. Soccer Federation, sits under CONCACAF. CONCACAF sits under FIFA, and there are some rules from FIFA and CONCACAF and the U.S. Soccer Federations that prevents MLS from pooling their teams from the U.S. Open Cup. That's just the law as well, and that's the thing with soccer. Now, FIFA and CONCACAF are not known to be the most transparent organizations out there.
No.
So, I wouldn't hold out too much hope there. And the other thing I think we should mention is that the U.S. Open Cup is such a historic tournament. And when I say historic, I don't mean just that it's old. It's also very important. So each country has a national championship, if you would call it that. And the U.S. Open Cup is America's version of that. It started in 1914. It's over 100 years of history. And it's the only continuous soccer competition in the United States that has even half as much as the U.S. Open Cup. There isn't even one. MLS didn't start till 96, just to give you an example. The other thing about the U.S. Open Cup is that it gives opportunity to teams like USL teams and below teams to participate. We had an amateur team a few years back beat 2 pro teams, an amateur team. So these are the storylines. These are the things that U.S. Open Cups provide that you can't find in any other sport in America because you just don't see that.
This is kind of like if there was a true Division I FBS national tournament with the ability for Liberty and Tulane, et cetera, to get to play games against Georgia, Alabama, and prove that they're not good enough. That's basically what this would be.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting, man.
And even taking a step further, you can. There was a team 2 years ago named after a liquor store. They just kind of got together and
Chico's Bell Bonds.
Yeah.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
So there you go. Oh, well, Valair, thanks for taking some time and educating us a little bit on what's going on. It is insane. We'll keep up with it, and we'll get you back on when something new comes up. We appreciate it again.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. That's Valair Shabilla. Follow him at Valair Shabilla on Twitter. Mo, we don't have time to go to a break because we want to talk about baseball and some new rules. So let's do that. The MLB competition committee passed 4 new rules today. Number 1, the pitch clock will be reduced from 20 seconds to 18 seconds when there is a runner on base. Mound visits used to be 5 per game. Now you only get 4. The runner's lane has been widened to include all of the dirt between the foul line and the infield grass. So I don't know if they are going to continue using the runner's lane chalk or not. Not sure it's necessary at this point.
Doesn't seem necessary. If you've got a foul line and you've got infield grass, then I don't know that a second line for the lane is necessary.
Yeah. And here's a weird one. That one actually may be common sense, and I'm okay with because there were a lot of issues created over players running inside the baseline, which to me, if you're inside the baseline, you're in the field of play, and if you get hit, that's interference. Pretty clearly. Now it's no longer interference. So whatever. But this one makes no sense. We've already got the minimum, the 3-batter minimum, right? If you come in the middle of an inning, you got to face 3 batters. Well, now, if you warm up for an inning, you have to face a batter. If you warm up at all. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Why not? Why would you go out and warm up unless you're why would you go out to warm up if you weren't going to face a batter?
How many times have we seen 2 pitchers warming up in a bullpen? A righty and a lefty.
Okay.
Based on the lineup that could be out there. So now, how do you pitch 2 pitchers? And if it's just 1 batter, now we're back to the whole issue that we used to have of taking pitchers out to put in for after 1 batter to put in another pitcher. Now you can only do it 3 times because you only have 4 mound visits, but still. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I think I'm going to have to see that one in action and see instances of it creating an issue to really grasp it, because I mean it doesn't necessarily right here bother me.
Well, why does it need to be a rule?
Because we're over officious. I don't know.
Like that's the thing. Like I mean, okay, well if it's not a problem, then what are we doing?
Yeah, it's as a friend of mine in the legal profession is fond of saying, it sounds like a solution looking for a problem.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense at all. So, well, here's the thing. Those 4 rules did pass, but it was not without dissent.
I would be the 20-18 with runners on base. I think if I were a pitcher, I'd be a little bothered by
Yeah. It was already hard enough at 20.
Yeah. And looking at the article on CBS Sports discussing these time changes, the average time of game went down 24 minutes from 2022 to 23. It went from 306 to 242.
Which is a good number.
And so I'm not sure how much more you are trying to squeeze out of this orange.
Yeah, 240 what?
242.
242 is plenty.
From 306.
Yeah, 242 is a good number.
I mean, if I go to a game, it's likely going to be in Atlanta. I've taken about 4 hours to get there. You're going to rush me through a game. You're going to play in 2 hours and a half.
Happened to me.
I mean, I'm feeling a little cheated. This is it?
Well, it's the first game I ever went to. Hour and 51 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
It was Maddox. So what were you going to do?
Exactly. What were you going to do? But I mean, I'm not one of those people that is watching baseball. And maybe that's the problem. I'm not one of those people that is watching baseball and saying, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
And I still feel like the people that are saying that aren't really baseball fans. But
Tony Clark, the players' representative, executive director of the MLBPA, said player representatives voted against the 2024 rule changes proposed by the commissioner's office. As they made clear in the competition committee, players feel strongly that following last season's profound changes, the fundamental rules of the game, immediate additional changes are unnecessary and offer no meaningful benefits to fans, players, or the competition on the field. The season should be used to gather additional data and fully examine the health, safety, and injury impacts of reduced recovery time. That is where our focus will be.
And that's one of the things that we talked about with the elbow and forearm strains
issues
that we were seeing, particularly early in the year.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. Players are not happy. Next CBA negotiations might be real interesting.
Contentious.
So, all right, that's it for today. Come back with us tomorrow. We will have college football picks. We will have Terry, of course, and we will have plenty more. We are efforting to get a couple of, or at least one, but a couple of very timely guests. So it's going to be fun. So come with us tomorrow at 2 o'clock here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll see you